Stadium in Newcastle. Beautiful weather conditions, a lovely evening it is, and a near capacity crowd for the premiership opener here between the Newcastle Knights taking on the Northern Eagles. And it might only be round one of the Telstra Premiership, but this game produces one of the head-to-head clashes of season 2001. The Newcastle Knights captain Andrew Johns, who desperately wants to be the test number 7, up against the incumbent test halfback Brett Kimmorley from the Northern Eagles, who's made the move this season from the Melbourne Storm. Having a look at the two sides, the Newcastle side as programmed, great to see the return of Robbie O'Davis in the number 1, and of course Andrew Johns taking over the captaincy from the retired Tony Butterfield, and Ben Kennedy finds himself on the interchange bench to start the season. The coach, the new coach taking over from Warren Ryan, is Michael Hagan. Looking at the Northern Eagles side, a lot of new faces in the Eagles team coached by Peter Sharp. We see Lenny Beckett there having come over from Penrith, Ben Walker coming down from the Brisbane Broncos, of course Kimmorley from Melbourne, and what a terrific back row it is. Menzies, Muir and Kosef, one of the best in the competition. This promises to be a great game here at Marathon Stadium, a capacity crowd, very close to it anyway, and it's the Newcastle Knights at home to the Northern Eagles.
The expectation here in Newcastle is very high after the disappointments of last season. The man sprinting through the banner first. Johns knows he's got to take the responsibility and let the players follow him.
And there he is, Robbie O'Davis. What's happened to Robbie O'Davis has been well documented, and last year just dogged by that foot injury. And he's played a couple of trials. He's as keen as mustard to be back and playing in the premiership, and a great boost it is for Newcastle to have him back at number 1. Referee for this afternoon is Stephen Clark, one of the most experienced referees, of course, in the competition. His 158th first grade game. Lovely evening it is. Newcastle getting the game underway. Russell Fairfax, what about the breeze conditions?
Well, there's not much of a breeze. Blowing left to right on your screen, favouring the Newcastle Knights in the first half, but there's not much in it. Great conditions for football, maybe even a little bit warm considering they've been playing 20-minute football. We'll just have to wait and see who gets their second win first.
And it's the Northern Eagles with Mark O'Meley. What a lump of a bloke he is. As Russell said, only 19 years of age, made his debut, Mark O'Meley, as a 17-year-old. But he's big and he is powerful. They're just near their own 30, and Brett Kimmorley, first touch in premiership football for the Eagles, and drives it down to Robbie O'Davis, and that brings a roar. The Newcastle Knights fans roar with delight, and Robbie O'Davis is coat hanging, and the man who got him was in fact Mark O'Meley, and didn't miss him.
Welcome back. Referee Stephen Clark calling that it was a simple shot across the shoulder. I don't know whether Robbie O'Davis agrees with it all that much, but he knows that he's back playing football.
Welcome back to the premiership, Robbie.
Eagles, white Eagles.
They're 10 inside their own half. Newcastle through Clinton O'Brien on tackle number 4. Now in the hands of Andrew Johns, switching his pass to Steve Simpson. Coming to the last now, Newcastle. Onto the short side. Andrew Johns calls for it. The kick by Andrew Johns. He can be a nightmare when for fullbacks like Brendan Reeves.
He can make a ball do anything, Andrew Johns. That was a perfect example of it. Shane Warne, look out. They might be sending Johnsy to India.
And on a wicket that's well grassed too, Russell.
Yes, very green pitch.
He's a wonderful kicker of the football, there's no doubt about it. One of the best tactical kickers in the game. Adam Muir, the former Newcastle Knight, back in old familiar territory. Brett Kimmorley again kicking, and a deep kick this one, driving Robbie O'Davis back to his own in goal. And here comes the welcoming committee. What have they got in store this time?
Well, unfortunately, the big fella wasn't able to get through on that Mark O'Meley. There was no chance of chasing that one through as Stephen Clark blows the first penalty of the game. Down in a tackle going against Albert Torrens. And that's a very welcome relief, not just for the Newcastle team. I think both teams, the players will appreciate it. They've only been out there a couple of minutes, but play has just gone from end to end so far.
Stephen Clark's favourite penalty, the holding down. At least last year it was. More penalties for that than anything else.
You got him, Jeff. Adam, bring him up.
12 on his own side of halfway. Now down the short side through Paul Marquette. Another former Newcastle Knight who's been away and returns home after his stint with the Melbourne Storm. Johns runs it again to the line, then able to give his pass away. Robbie O'Davis coming up to run off Andrew Johns. Badiris sneaks out of dummy half. Good run by Danny Badiris. Last tackle coming up and they're 25 metres out from the line. Rudder electing to run it. Switchback on the inside, still keeping the ball alive. Badiris coming up in support. Billy Peden elects to run himself and is tagged on the last. It's the change-out.
Well, deciding to chance their arm running the football, there seemed to be a little bit of a chance out to the left-hand side for the Newcastle Knights. After it proved to be non-successful, may have been a better idea to put the ball up in the air. As Russell said before, there's not a strong breeze here at Marathon, but it is swirling, particularly early in the game. It does create doubt in the mind of any player standing underneath it.
Well, this time Brett Kimmorley elects to run it to the line and give his pass away to Muir, who's tackled. Puts it around 15 inside his own half.
John, I reckon we've got to look for that pretty much every time the Northern Eagles have the ball. Kimmorley will go to the fringe of the ruck and look for one of his back rows.
Kimmorley using the little stab kick, putting it through again for Robbie O'Davis. Chase being led down by Ben Walker. O'Davis tries to get away from Walker. Both products of Toowoomba and Queensland's Darling Downs. Robbie O'Davis and Ben Walker, and Walker eventually able to get hold of it. So they're back 35 out from their own half, the Newcastle Knights. Tabata Tahu juggling the ball at the first attempt and then able to hold on to it. Now running it strongly is Steve Simpson. Badiris looking for the runner. Ooh, gee, that ball. I thought that went forward to Clinton O'Brien. It's come back to Badiris. It was play on. It certainly was line ball. Badiris trying to sneak his way through the Northern Eagles defence. Johns. Through Andrew Johns. He was almost through. The man who got him, though, and ankle tapped him was Jeff Toovey. Quickly they spread it away. Rudder, the ball being put through for Elbert. Came off the boot of Mark Hughes and lost only a couple of metres from the line.
That was a very clever kick. Newcastle players protesting, but they didn't believe they knocked it forward. Billy Peden was the man. It was a ball that was just put in behind the defensive line. The speed of the game has been the impressive point so far.
Certainly it's a beautiful evening in Newcastle, but it has been a very warm day. But conditions now ideal for this game. Still slightly on the warm side, as you would expect naturally at this time of the year. On the fourth tackle, the Eagles, 12 inside their own half. Again kicking early in the tackle count. Brett Kimmorley, deep kick. O'Davis is back in the in-goal. The chase being led by Andrew King, and it's King who makes the tackle on O'Davis. Darren Elbert. Now across field goes Julian Ryder. So the wingers, Elbert and Ryder coming in to do some of the hard work. Straight down the middle comes Clinton O'Brien. Adam Muir there to meet him. Johns out wide to Peden. Billy Peden sneaking through and almost got his arms free to unload that pass to Mark Hughes. Johns again. Brendan Reeves, he puts it so high, Andrew Johns, it would be just a nightmare for fullbacks. You seem to be waiting there for an eternity, Wally Lewis, for that ball to come down to you.
Well, it wouldn't be much fun for either fullback out there today, would it? Two of the best kickers in the game, and I'm sure that they're out there to make the best of the conditions. So we get towards an interesting period of play, coming up towards the 10-minute period, and we'll be looking for some of the big blokes who in previous seasons may have been looking to the bench for a rest and a drink. They're not going to get that this afternoon.
Steve Menzies standing wide. Ball very quickly got away out to Lenny Beckett, the former Newcastle Knight. He's got a ton of speed, Lenny Beckett. Very quickly, though, wrapped up in the tackle of Elbert. Kimmorley throwing his wide pass to pick up Kosef. Then back on the inside, it comes to Adam Muir. Muir looking to unload. Johns. Still on the attack though. Kosef, wide pass, goes into the clutches of Robert Miles. Miles for the corner, takes out the corner post.
Well, this is going to be an interesting ruling, this.
And also I want to check the play in relation to the touching goal line, mate. From where I was, mate, I don't have any opinion at all.
No, he couldn't see anything. You couldn't blame him, the referee, Stephen Clark, because there was a couple of players. One of the Northern Eagle players blew up straight away. I've got to say that if a try is awarded, well, they've got a little bit lucky because they bombed an absolute certainty around about 10 or 15 seconds. There's O'Davis coming in. Well, you can argue, I suppose, whichever team you're on side of, there was contact made, whether or not it was deliberate, but it does not seem as though the contact was made with the ground with the football.
He was certainly short of the line and was going to get the ball over the line, and it was the contact from O'Davis catching him with his knees coming across that hit him and virtually has rolled him over, so that the ball hasn't been touched down in goal. No try it is, to the delight of this big crowd here at Marathon Stadium. No try to Robbie Miles, let off for Newcastle. So no score here as yet at Marathon Stadium.
Let's now remember the try that was bombed after the great break that was made up the middle of the ruck. Had two players deciding who was going to score the try. In the end, couldn't make up their minds and wasted a certain six-pointer.
Danny Badiris making a half break. He's shut down just on the halfway mark, loses the ball.
You lost it. Thanks, Alan. Hey? You got to hold the ball yourself.
Badiris doesn't agree, but then again, I've never seen a player in that situation who does. But Steve Clark ruling, lost the ball cold. So an Eagles scrum feed, and this is right on halfway. Walker. Andrew King. Kimmorley again works it on the short side with Kosef. Wayne Evans, recruit to the Northern Eagles from the Melbourne Storm. Kimmorley switching it on the inside, the short pass to pick up O'Meley. 25 metres out from the line. Kimmorley tries to sneak his way through. Can't fill way to the defence. Andrew Johns is there to put him over and hope the crowd love that. Ball that's been towed ahead, picked up by the Eagles. That's on the last. The little kick put through by Muir and almost paid off for him as well.
She's already can see the influence that Brett Kimmorley is having. He's really giving them a much more structured look about them, the Northern Eagles. They never looked this good at any stage last year, I believe. He's picking the short side. He's looking to work Newcastle on that short side. For the last 5 or 10 minutes now, Newcastle's been the side under pressure.
Got to tell you, Russell and Wally, the game might only be 10 minutes old, but I am loving this. You're seeing just two absolutely fantastic footballers guiding their teams around the paddock. Kimmorley and Johns, what a clash.
I reckon they're keeping an eye on each other. We saw from Johns' tackle on Kimmorley. There's no doubt they're watching where they go around the football field.
They certainly are, and this is Glenn Grief. 5 tackles gone now for the Knights. They're 12 inside their own half. Where's Johns? First receiver. Calls for it. Gets his kick away. Out to Robert Miles. Takes it just on his own 30. Runs it back to a tough tackle and loses the ball.
Well, he was caught pretty heavy. It was a shot that was just up under the chin, may have bounced up off the chest, but doesn't make too much difference. The referee and the touch judge in particular, was in perfect position for it.
Hughes going in underneath. Sean Rudder coming in over the top. That's a bonus for the Knights. Now they need the scrum win.
Got him one.
He's got it. At the moment he did get it, he was put to ground. 2 tackles gone. The crowd booing that the Eagles weren't back onside. Play on, says the referee, and Glenn Grief gets it inside the 30. Johns with the ball in hand, runs it to the line. Andrew Johns almost cut through. Good tackle by Nick Kosef. Professional foul rules the referee.
Mate, he's standing in the road.
Well, he's called a professional foul, but gee, I think he simply just ran into him. Obviously, he shouldn't have been standing there. Should have been out of the way. I think he just got up, thought, well, I've made my tackle, I've done my job for the moment, get out of the way. In fact, Russell given away two, but I think just the body language from the Northern Eagles players tended to indicate that they may feel like they've saved an extra 4 points.
I think you're right there, Wally. Real dumb stuff there. Typical forward play as we get our first points of the match.
Andrew Johns kicks the penalty goal, an easy one for him, and 2 points to nil it is in favour of Newcastle. Newcastle 2, the Northern Eagles 0. And Robbie O'Davis loses the ball from the kick-off, knocks on only 5 metres out from his own line.
Well, it's a terrible error coming off the back of a confidence-building first 2 points, but O'Davis was forced to run into the spot. He wasn't given a lot of assistance. He should not be standing there. He should be around about where the dead ball line or just inside it. There was nobody covering an open gap. He was forced to sprint into it. Right at the end, he had half an opportunity to steady himself, but now it's put the Northern Eagles back in the spot they were 2 or 3 minutes ago. Just look for the spring and the step of Brett Kimmorley.
Scrum to be packed 10 metres from the line. Brett Kimmorley feeds and wins it. Now in the clutches of Walker, and then away to Torrens. Albert Torrens trying to get through to Reeves, and he goes back and holds on to it. The overall result was they lost some 8 metres. Here's Miles, takes it back to the 10-metre mark. Tuvey through Kosef. O'Meley bounces away from one and then goes a second time. Mark O'Meley 2 metres out is the big fellow. What'll Tuvey do from dummy half? Gives his pass to Kimmorley, who switches it back to Brendan Reeves. Brilliantly read though by Paul Marquette in defence. Kimmorley again. Kimmorley popping his pass. It came from Muir to Menzies. He's right on the line, Steve Menzies. The last is coming up for them. Back again to Kimmorley. He'll bomb it out towards Robert Bales' wing and touch and goal. Back to the 20 for the restart, and so Newcastle saved the day again.
Well, it was almost a trademark Melbourne Storm play, wasn't it? Kimmorley kicking across the face, but I really think they wasted an opportunity. On the blind side, they had 4 on 2. May have got themselves into the belief that now on the 5th tackle, you've got to throw it to the guy that's regarded as the best kicker in the business, but you can't afford to waste opportunities.
Fox Sports coverage of every game in the NRL competition in the Telstra Premiership in 2001, and this is a blockbuster. Newcastle and the Northern Eagles. The Knights are in front by 2 points to nil. Tamana Tahu to play it. 42 metres out from the Eagles line. O'Brien charges it straight into the pack. Back to the short side, and Johns puts up that high kick, swirling back infield for Brendan Reeves, takes it and runs it back into the in-goal area, goal line dropout. What about the pinpoint accuracy of Johns?
Yeah,
He's sensational, isn't he?
We've got to give him great credit for the way that he put the ball up, but Russell, I've also got to give a bit of a pat on the back to Brendan Reeves there. He changed direction 2 or 3 times there. He covered it perfectly right at the end, had to make one last desperate lunge at it. As a former fullback, you can understand just how tough it is facing a guy the quality of Andrew Johns with the football.
Well, the worst part about it, Wally, couldn't take his eye off the ball. He had his back to the opposition. He was waiting for a big hit. He knew one was going to come, but he didn't flinch. Committed to taking that high ball.
Billy Peden runs it back, upended somewhat. The crowd roar. The referee just simply says play on. O'Brien does well to Badiris, then away to Johns, then on to Tahu. Tahu gets his pass back on the inside to Steve Simpson. They're on the attack at only 10 metres out from the line, the Knights. Johns, ever dangerous, shut down 5 metres out. Badiris brings it again to the blind side. Danny Badiris almost over. Driven back in some good hard defence. Mark O'Meley was there to meet him. Peden, O'Davis, then away through Rudder. The ball lost behind Marquette, picked up by Hughes. Owen caught only 1 metre from the line. Great tackle, Nick Kosef. Last tackle coming up. Danny Badiris picks up the wild pass, throws it wide. Tahu kicks ahead for it, but it's gone into the in goal. Taken back by Lenny Beckett, gone dead, and another goal line dropout. They're putting the pressure on. They're starting to turn the screws, Newcastle, but the Eagles are responding.
Knights players really involved with making themselves available at every opportunity, but you've got to pay great credit to the Northern Eagles players. The way that they responded to the challenge on a number of occasions, the last-ditch effort was fantastic. Interesting to see whether they can keep this going. Understandably, they're taking their time with the restart from under the post. The ball's gone missing, disappeared into the crowd somewhere.
Well, if this is any indication of what season 2001 is going to be, it will be a blockbuster. What a game this is turning out to be. It's 2-0 at the moment in favour of the Newcastle Knights. Clinton O'Brien starts to run it back, and he's able to go 20 metres and then unloads to Badiris. Lost it and then regained it. Play on, says the referee. Wide they go through. Hughes tried to get his pass back to pick up Justin Ryder, and it's gone loose.
Some opportunities going begging there by the Newcastle Knights. While you mentioned the desperation defence by Northern Eagles has been tough. Michael Hagan, he'd be fairly concerned about now. I think he would have thought they'd have had some points on the board. They have a slight bruise at their back, and it hasn't been all their own way, the Newcastle Knights, at this stage.
Now it's up to the Eagles to bring it out from their own goal line. Albert Torrens was the first receiver, and they've got outside the 20.
This will be where they rely on their original game plan to shift them from this area.
Tuvi's pass has gone loose, going back for it. It's going to be picked up by Beckett, but he'll be held on to. Lucky that he didn't go into touch, and lucky, in fact, that the pass itself didn't go into touch. Relief, though, for the Eagles. They get a penalty from Steve Clark.
John, that's great relief for them, because they were about to be tackled for the 5th time in that set, and they'd made around about 10 to 15 metres, and they weren't looking too productive at all. A very ordinary penalty out wide from somebody that was unlikely to be involved in play, giving the Eagles a chance now. See them, I'm sure, Kimmorley take the reins once again. He's got to try and shift, I think, the point of their attack from up the middle to just off the edge of the ruck, or just outside the 5'8" position.
2-0 in favour of Newcastle. Kimmorley with the ball in hand. He had to juggle it at first, and then threw the pass, which was picked up by Ben Walker. Just that delay from Kimmorley meant that Walker was hit hard the moment he got it. Kick ahead, O'Davis back into the in goal, got away from Miles, then gives it to Ryder. Ryder gets to Reeves, slipped around him. Can't get away, though, from Kimmorley and cover.
Well, if Robbie O'Davis's confidence was shot before, he's not now. He knocked off in the kickoff, but geez, he showed incredible confidence in his teammate there, passing over the line to get them back into the field of play when it was looking like, for all money, that we'd have a line dropout.
Johns shuffles it away to Sean Rudder. Saw a break back on the inside, thought he was through, but big Mark O'Meley was there in defence to get him. Johns again. Runs with that ball in hand, both hands, takes it to the line, always has the defence in some doubt. Rudder with the kick this time. Not the best of kicks by Sean Rudder. Robert Miles takes it. Reeves. From fullback, Brendan Reeves. Just short of halfway, the Eagles.
A few of those Eagles players starting to walk too.
Adam Muir able to keep that ball alive, getting over halfway. Brett Kimmorley trying to jink his way through the defence. Couldn't do so. Billy Peden was there to get him. Kosef. To the line goes Kosef. Tough tackle, Steve Simpson. Kimmorley again. Last coming up now for the Eagles. Ben Walker. He puts up the high kick. O'Davis doesn't have to leave the ground to take that well, and immediately then turns a defensive situation into attack. Through Badiris, then away it goes through Josh Perry. Perry keeps it wide to Marquette. Caught right on the halfway line. Diving tackle, bringing him to the ground. Johns, O'Davis, Peden. Smothering tackle by Beaver Menzies. In a good set of 6, this one by Newcastle. They caught it from just outside their own line. Billy Peden on 4 is 32 metres out. Johns, Rudder, Hughes, Ryder.
5! Ben Kennedy on the field for the first time.
Rudder's kicked. Ball loose. Albert going back forward. It's going to be an Eagles ball though. 8 from their own line, the Northern Eagles. Ball played back by Lenny Beck.
Some relief for the Northern Eagles as they try and take the ball away from their line. As we heard Kennedy on the football field. I think the timing of the replacements that will be made here this evening will be instrumental in the result. Kennedy, of course, coming on around about quarter way through the match when some of the forwards, particularly on the edge of the ruck, are just starting to feel it. Starting to feel the pinch. Oh, there's another very expensive penalty. Maybe a little bit of over-exuberance being shown by the replacement coming on. But that again was on the 3rd, going on 4th tackle. And the Northern Eagles weren't travelling too well at all.
This is Wayne Evans. Right on halfway.
You keep pushing him over on his back. He's already held. You can't turtle him.
Been given the Bronx cheer by the Newcastle supporters as referee Stephen Clark, but he's unfazed, so the penalty count is in favour of the Eagles by 3-2. But back-to-back penalties, and that can often be a real killer. It keeps the defensive side right on the back move, and now Menzies attacks on the short side. O'Meley just takes one hard settling run.
Look
Just
for Kimmorley.
crashes his way in.
Sorry, Mac, look for Kimmorley. Did something on 3rd play.
Kimmorley with the ball in hand. Ducked in behind one, that'll bring a penalty. Obstruction. Went straight in behind Paul Stringer.
Blood bin, Jeff. Blood bin.
Be interesting to see the way that the Northern Eagles coach, the sharp handles this one, as you saw the smile come from Kimmorley's face. He was resigned, he knew all about it. Whilst he's been ordered to leave the field on a blood bin ruling Jeff Tooby, a lot of the coaches have made a statement that most of the time they won't worry about replacing their players. They'll try and spend a minute or 2 patching them up on the sidelines, repairing it before getting them on, instead of wasting one full replacement.
Up again, Steve. Paul Stringer.
Yes, that's the point about the interchange that people do have to remember. If you do have a blood bin, it counts as one of your 12 interchanges. Ben Kennedy. Solid hard run by Kennedy, takes it inside the Eagles territory, brings a cheer from the crowd. Now to Sean Rudder, steps off the right, then comes back off the left. Johns, to the line goes Andrew Johns, throws the dummy, then picks up Tamata Tahu to Johns, went loose but he was able to regather. Andrew Johns in possession, and they're on the last though. Robbie O'Davis moves in to be the kicker, with Johns having had to play the ball. Ball lost, play on, says the referee, still on the last, but Dearest able to give his pass away, running it hard is Steve Simpson, now caught. Handover rules the referee.
Let him up, Danny.
Jeff Tooby with that cut, having been bandaged. What, I'd like $1 for every time Jeff Tooby's had a cut in the game. Would have retired a long time ago.
I'd like one for every stitch.
Here he goes, the little warrior.
Touch.
Tackle count restarting.
Had some great players, the Manly Club and now the Northern Eagles. But I don't think there's ever been a player who you could say, apart from probably Bob Fulton, it's been just the heart and soul of the Eagles, as has Jeff Tooby. Muir. Adam Muir, just short of the 20. Walker Unloading this time for Kimmorley. Switches it back on the inside to Greg Ibril. Walker a dummy half, feeding Kimmorley, then wide to Jeff Tuvey. Just losing his footing as he went into the tackle. Trying to roll that ball into the in-goal. Penalty goes to the Eagles. Offside. Front, they're 2 points behind, but elected to go for the try. Kimmorley able to get his pass just on the fringe of the ruck. Trying to put Stringer through the gap. Muir tries to crash his way over. Kimmorley goes back for it. Buettner throws him back another couple of metres. Unloads his pass for Wayne Evans. Now Ben Walker. Got it at the second attempt, Walker. But they've been pushed back now to their own 20.
Put the scrum down. I didn't give you the mark. No, I didn't give him the mark. No, you got to wait till I give you the mark. Well, if I give you the mark, you can take it. You didn't wait, mate, that rule's been in. We've been playing that rule for 2 years now.
Well, I tell you what, I find that very difficult to understand Stephen Clark's decision there, because it was obvious what happened. He was on the mark. He got up, simply took a tap. He didn't move forward, didn't move sideways. It was exactly the place that the offence took place, and he was the one that was found to have made the mistake out of it.
Well, a let-off for Newcastle, and now they turn defence into attack, but the ball's gone loose. Knocked on.
He stole it and went forward.
That's
he
a long
stole it
ball.
and went forward.
Clark probably remember there, John. Of course, he was facing back towards his own end goal. It must have just got dragged forward a little bit. It could have been very dangerous for Newcastle.
The referee ruling that he stole it, which he was entitled to do, one-on-one, but then the ball he had played at and knocked forward, which gives Newcastle the feed to the scrum inside their own 20. Ball loose again by Newcastle.
Eagles ball.
It's going to be a Northern Eagles ball, it is. They're only 12 metres out from the line. Brendan Reeves runs himself, ran away from Robbie Beckett on the wing.
Oh, wait. Go.
Andrew King in to be the dummy half. Kimmorley looking for the runners, coming straight down the middle of the ruck. Tuvey unloads to Kimmorley. Kimmorley's pass. King got it and was smothered.
Hold on, Danny.
Kimmorley again. That pass looked forward. Referee rules that it was okay to Greg Ibril. Certainly look forward from this angle, let me tell you. Here's Tuvey.
5.
3 metres out from the line and the last coming up. Kimmorley again. A pass which goes wide. Picked up by Torrance. Torrance going for the line. He's got into the in-goal. Has he grounded it correctly? Ball's been stolen, but did he get it down first?
Wesley, just checked he got that down. It looked to me as though he did, but then a Newcastle hand came under it pretty almost simultaneous, so just check that for me. Thank you.
Video referee this afternoon is Graham West.
I don't think there'll be any concerns as to a double movement. It was quite clear. Torrens' motion took him forward over the line. Sloppy pass from Kimmorley opened the opportunity. Bouncing around about a quarter of a metre short of the line. Well, did he get that ball down as well? Could be a nightmare, that corner for the Eagles. It's bounced on his shoulder. And that's a second one.
Oh, can you believe that? 2 in that corner. If I was the Northern Eagles, I'd be attacking to the left-hand side of the field from here on in. They just can't get it right.
For the second time in this first half, an outstanding effort has denied a try to the Northern Eagles.
It was the 5th and last. Hold it, wait for the whistle, Johnsy. It was the 5th and last, that's why it's to play the ball. Held up.
There's the ruling by Stephen Clark. It happened on the 5th and last, he ruled.
That's one!
It's got it wrong.
Hold it, yep, wait, now go.
Is it your Matt's or Steve's, Walt?
I tell you what, though, they are creating some space out there on the right-hand side. What's happening, Brett Kimmorley's got his back rowers running at an angle and it's drawing in the defence. It's got a concertina in. Subsequently, there's plenty of space out wide. Even though it was a fairly poor pass, they did have numbers. They'd done their homework outside and they had the numbers. And I think that's just the sort of play we're going to see all year off the Northern Eagles.
Well, it's still 2-0 in favour of Newcastle. Remembering that the Northern Eagles had a penalty goal right in front of the post and they elected to go for the try and didn't come off. And now Johns. To the line goes Johns and puts the ball on the toe. Can he get it again? Oh, no, he can't. But it comes back to Ben Kennedy. He played at it.
That's his first.
The Eagles played at it, so the tackle count restarts. Tackle number 1 and 40 metres out from the line. Here goes Julian Bailey for the Knights. Down to Troy Fletcher off the interchange bench. Johns. Kennedy.
4. Don't turtle him, Jeff.
Inside the 20, on the 4th tackle. Vidiris pushed away from Tuvey. Then wide to Sean Rudder. Rudder looking to get away from Ben Walker. He's still going. Rudder and does well to give it to Peden. Peden looking to unload to Ryder. He's lost it. Couldn't hold it. Ryder. Eagles ball. Greg Eberl with it 5 from his own line.
That's now 1. Play it.
So a seesawing game here at Marathon. And the Knights in front by 2 points to 0 with just 8 minutes remaining until the half-time break.
3. Back Knights.
Tuvey. Able to give his
Tackle
pass
4.
to Eberl.
Hold Knights. Go.
Kimmorley.
Inside 40.
Again kicking early in the tackle count from inside his 40-metre mark. O'Davis claps on the speed. Too quick for Menzies. He left it to the second line of defence and O'Davis got almost to halfway before he ran into Muir.
2.
Bailey.
Next Steve. Jeff.
Johns. Inside for Ben Kennedy. He's got Tahu on his outside.
3.
Oh, he was able to get it to Tahu. He was unmarked, but he went back inside. Now to Johns. Johns once more. Beats Menzies. Puts it on the toe. Dropping back for it. Beckett. He'll let it. Touching goal. Goal line. Dropout. Had he been able to look and see where that pass, where Tahu was on the outside of Kennedy, I'm sure he would have been able to get away. Kennedy didn't know he was there and cut back inside, and a try perhaps went begging.
It's the options that he provides at the moment. It's creating so many problems for the Northern Eagles. Not afraid to kick the ball, whether it's a second or third tackle. We haven't seen too many grubbers or chip kicks throughout the course of the match. As soon as they pop up, they create immediate danger.
Well, the game has been building quite rightly as the clash of Kimmorley and Johns. Who are the points going to at the moment, Russell Fairfax?
Oh, you've got it. This is even. This is an even ball game. Look at the scoreline, 2 points in favour of Newcastle. There's nothing in this game. And both the number 7s provide plenty of opportunities for their teammates.
Aren't they what? Aren't they what? Julian Bailey did well to unload. It comes through Vidiris and then on to Fletcher. Gets his pass back. O'Davis trying to sneak his way through the middle of the ruck. Bailey.
3. Line, boys. Jeff, line.
11 metres from the line. 3 tackles gone. Call for by Johns. Wide it goes to Rudder. Switches it back on the inside for Mark Hughes. Oh, a little flick pass. Troy Fletcher couldn't take it. Eagles ball. The 0 tackle right on their own line.
That's 1.
Mark Hughes down in back play. Now to his feet in the hands of the trainer.
It's 2.
Well, the people in the crowd have been
Hold.
reaching for the first try scorers about 10 times throughout the course of the match. A forward pass could be an expensive one with just over 5 minutes remaining in the first half. A very short pass.
We're talking about
Dropped up by Adam Muir, no doubt whatsoever. The ball went marginally forward and they didn't need to come up with an error at that stage.
In fact, he's probably a little lucky that there wasn't a penalty for an intentional forward pass, because Albert Torrens had well and truly overrun him when he gave the pass to Torrens. But the referee simply ruling a scrum for the forward pass.
Let him go, Brett.
Another good attacking option for the Knights. Here's Peden. Switches his pass for Julian Bailey with plenty of speed. 10 out from the line, Bailey. Buettner goes himself from dummy half. Bailey once more. Ball gone backwards. Has it? No, knock on now.
Yeah, I was watching. I thought it was okay, mate.
Well, I think the message both coaches will be taking to their teams at half-time, Russell, is that they've got to be a little more patient with their play. They've got the talent, ability to be able to score tries, but if they try and get a 4-pointer every time they get to play the ball in their opponent's 20-metre zone, it's going to be a very long and frustrating afternoon for them.
Yes, I think you're right, Wally. Patience and defence. Make sure you keep it as it is. Both the coaches would be delighted with the defence at this stage and more upset with their attack than they would be with their defensive setup.
Ben Walker had a battle and a half there. In fact, Sean Rudder came in with a one-on-one tackle on his opposite 5'8" and went very close to stealing the ball from him. Only some 10 metres out from the line too. But he held on, Ben Walker, held on for grim death.
Well, it's a golden opportunity for Kimmorley to cash in on distance here. Fourth tackle. Robbie O'Davis is standing around 5 or 6 metres in behind his own line. Could have picked up valuable territory with O'Davis so close to his own defenders.
Robert Miles playing it just near halfway. Kimmorley was under pressure though when he had to put that kick away. Out towards Ryder, difficult one for him. Ball bouncing, picked up by Albert Torrens. He's been denied once, Torrens. Can he get through this time? He can't. Inside the 20 though, Walker, wide pass, Reeves, his pass on to Stringer, Menzies couldn't take it. Had 3 players, a 3-man overlap, and the ball at the fingertips of Steve Menzies, and he couldn't take it in.
Well, just tried to do a little bit too much. It was a terrific step back on the inside of Tamana Tahu. And all he had to do was basically settle, throw a good pass to any one of 3 supporting players. Yet another opportunity is wasted by the Eagles.
Well, that would have been a chance for Steve Menzies to score his 111th try.
Got to go in front of both of them.
Probably won't get many better chances during the season, let me tell you, Russell.
It was wide open.
Ball lost, it went backwards from Tamana Tahu. Luckily for him, it was picked up by a Newcastle teammate. Second tackle, they're 10 out from their own line. Hughes.
Up we get, boys. Up, Steve Trindle.
Buettner looking for a runner on the fringe of the ruck, and that runner is Fletcher.
Hold here, hold here. Go.
Ryder.
5. Back, boys.
Tackle on Justin Ryder from Ben Walker. Johns. Kick. Good kick by Johns. Reeves trying to cut down the angle that he had to kick it to.
He's fast. Back, boys. 15.
Just over a minute remaining until half-time. No tries as yet in the game. The boot of Andrew Johns with a penalty goal, having the Knights with their nose in front. Kimmorley, switch of play for Andrew King. Kimmorley once more. Muir to play at 10 inside. Newcastle's half. Lost him.
Thanks, Alan.
Rule to have been lost by Adam Muir. So this scrum will just have time to pack.
Lenny, what's the kick? Outside legs up.
We'll get another opportunity lost by the Eagles. They're going to have to make sure they do a little bit of cover defending here as a penalty goes to the Newcastle Knights. Johns electing to run the ball straight away. I thought he might have chosen to simply kick the ball out, get him a little bit closer and perhaps use his kicking game closer to the line. Just under 10 seconds left now. Very important the Eagles drop an extra cover defender back into place.
Julian Bailey on the halfway mark. Hooter goes for half-time. Both teams have had their chances during the first half. Both have come very close to scoring, but no tries on the board at half-time. And the only point's the penalty goal, kicked by Andrew Johns for the Newcastle Knights. We expected it to be a tough battle. We expected the halfback clash to be a beauty. Well, they've both lived up to all expectations. At the break, the Newcastle Knights 2, the Northern Eagles 0. Second half underway. Ben Walker's kick. Troy Fletcher running it back out to his own 20. 2-0 in favour of the Newcastle Knights. Just as the sun sets here at Marathon Stadium and getting very low, the Northern Eagles in the second half, when they're running from the outer side, the Newcastle side, back across, they will, for a little while anyway, be running into this setting sun. I'm sure Andrew Johns will be aware of that as this kick goes down into the in-goal. Great chase by Justin Ryder. Ryder flying down to make sure Miles was held in the in-goal and then push touch in-goal. That's the start they wanted. And all of the Newcastle players coming over to give Justin Ryder a pat on the back for a terrific chase.
I think what made it very tough for Brendan Reeves there was he wasn't sure where the kick was launched, I'm sorry. He knew Johns had kicked it. It was inside his own half, but I'm sure that he didn't have much of an idea whether it was inside the 40 or not. He didn't have time to turn around and have a look at the referee. If he had it, he may have just decided to try and let the ball run over the line. A pretty short drop kick. It gives the Knights an opportunity to launch their attack 40 metres out.
Well, the reason that's happened, Wally, is the fact that the wind has swung around a little bit and it's now blowing a crosswind and starting to favour the Newcastle Knights.
Andrew Johns, 25 out from the line. Beaver picks up a runner in Troy Fletcher. Inside the 20 on 3. 2-0 in favour of the Knights. Josh Perry gets to 10 metres out. Good low tackle by Jeff Tuvey. Here's Beaver. Realised that Tuvey wasn't back marking up and quickly went from dummy half. Almost got through. Away from Johns. On to Rudder. Rolls into the in-goal. Too deep by Sean Rudder. Far too deep. And a chance gone begging.
That really is poor execution of their last play. They had an opportunity to put the Eagles on the rack with a clever grubber in behind the line. They could have gone either way. I'm sure that Peter Sharp, the Eagles coach, is pretty glad that has dribbled over the line. Very important. They get down the other end of the field. They've played the majority of the game in their own half.
Albert Torrance. Close to scoring in the first half. Breaking through early in the second half. On the halfway mark, though, is where he was put over. Kimmorley got under an attempted high tackle, then was dragged to ground by Beaver going in low. Paul Stringer. Almost up to the 30. Kimmorley with ball in hand. Switch of play for Greg Eberl.
With your foot.
Tuvey runs from dummy half. Little left foot kick by Tuvey. Chasing it back, Darren Albert. The kick again, this time from the Eagles, too deep. Once more back up to the 20. Now for the Knights to restart.
Two of the best kickers in the game. Neither of them got a chance to implement one of their best weapons. Deciding to go wide early, the Knights.
And Tamana Tahu, he was almost through himself and desperately looking for a runner back on his inside. No one there. Again, they work it back on the short side. Julian Bailey to play it. Almost up to halfway. This is Josh Perry. Ball kept alive. Romeo Davis up in support. Wide it comes. And lost by Tamana Tahu.
I don't know if he lost it. I think he put the pass out there for Darren Albert. Darren Albert came inside, but there was plenty of space out wide if Albert had stayed there.
Yeah, it was a good call, Russell. It's exactly what happened.
Legs up, boys.
He's a guy that really commands a lot of attention when he runs in. There's always two defenders necessary. I think he milked it very well. Got over the top of him, simply put it up on the plate. Fortunately, no one there to clean up.
So a seesawing game. Certainly seesawing as far as possession goes. Here's Albert Torrance. You keep seeing the half breaks, Albert Torrance. Just can't complete them.
Just as straight. They need to hold the ball. What you said prior to half-time, Wally, patience. Neither side has shown any of it in this second half.
Big Paul Stringer. A bulk of a bloke getting it over the halfway mark. Danny Medeiros, the penalised player, going too quickly off the mark. So here's a real chance now for the Eagles to put their first points on the board. First tackle, and they're 22 metres out from the line, and Brett Kimmorley runs it to the line inside the 20. It's Medeiros who makes the tackle. He gave away the penalty, so he knows he's got to work now in defence. Wide pass, coming in off the wing, comes Darren Elman to make the tackle, and a good one it was too on Andrew King. Stringer looking to get that arm free. Julian Bailey knew it and wrapped him up. Back on the short side once more. Passes travel forward, rules the referee. Albert Torrens thought he was in again.
Well, they really are tossing away opportunities. They had a golden chance there. All it was needed was a simple, almost handoff. It was a huge hole opened up. Tamana Tahu just drifted a little bit too wide.
Outside, legs up.
So they've had their chances, the Northern Eagles, and they simply haven't been able to convert them as yet. 8 minutes into the second half. Ben Kennedy brings it out to his own 20. Hugh to Johns, runs it to the line, able to bat it back.
I'm sure Johnsy would wish he didn't throw that one. He didn't do his teammate too many favours. Just threw it up in front of 3 or 4 defenders, expected him to catch it, and had a note on it. Here, do something.
Back you go, Knights.
Done whilst disappointing their coach Michael Hagan has just immediately handed a chance back to the Northern Eagles, who only a minute prior had wasted a golden opportunity to grab their first try of the game.
Ben Walker. Walker trying to get on the outside of Sean Rudder. Greg Ebron, 15 metres out. Jamie Goddard is on the field, runs in to be the dummy half for the Eagles. Switchback for Muir. Goddard can't pick it up. Lost though by Newcastle and picked up. Referee rules that it's 3 tackles, hasn't been restarted. The crowd certainly don't like that. Menzies picks the ball up. Menzies floats the pass wide. The Eagles still in possession, but the Newcastle defence is able to swarm and pull Lenny Beckett to ground, only 5 metres out. Still trying to push their way over. Has he got the ball down?
Held up.
Held up. Held up. No try.
Davis lending a little bit of support. But surely it can only be a matter of moments till one of these sides crack.
Torrens switches his pass back on the outside, able to pick up Robert Miles. Miles has got the ball over the line. This time the referee says he has got there fairly, and Robert Miles scores the try that's been a long time coming for the Northern Eagles, and the Eagles are in front by 4-2.
And Peter Sharp no doubt would have sat down and thought, well, thankfully we finally got one. But it came about. Clever transition to shift the ball wide, get it away from the central point of attack in. Just see he drew 2 defenders wide and dropped it on the inside. And really, Miles, I don't think, had any idea that he was about to score the try until he fell down towards the line. Motion took him over, but Russell shifting the ball back inside on an angle. It's the best way to get rid of some tiring defence, although it was there.
Well, he was going to send that ball inside, but decided, and cleverly decided to hang on to it. Nice time to score on debut.
Ben Walker, another one of the recruits this year to the Eagles. Not wanted by the Brisbane Broncos. A good player, Ben Walker, from a great footballing family. His 2 brothers, of course, played last night for the Broncos. Not coming back in enough from Ben Walker. Keeps it up to the right, no goal. But the Eagles are in front. 12 minutes into the second half. The Northern Eagles 4, the Newcastle Knights 2.
And whilst Newcastle are reminding themselves of the importance to clean up this next set of 6, I'm sure they reminded themselves that they were the ones that dug themselves into a hole on that occasion.
Wait with me.
The Eagles wasted a chance, then they simply presented them with an opportunity which took only seconds to be punished. Yet another penalty coming against the Knights, and Russell, this really is becoming a little bit of a problem for Newcastle. Whilst they've dominated field position throughout the course of the match, the amount of penalties, simple penalties they've come up with in situations such as that, where I mean, that's just a silly error.
Their play in the second half has been most undisciplined. They've coughed up a couple of footballs, and as you just said, as we just saw then, they're not following referee Stephen Clark's rules. He's obviously giving us some tips out there. They don't want to get off, and they're going to pay the consequences. Steve Clark is one of those sorts of referees. If you don't do it the way he wants you to do it, you will pay the penalty.
Back up to the 30. Adam Muir cutting back infield into the tackle of Ben Kennedy. Walker. This time Walker tries to take on the line. Tackled by Danny Badouris. Kimmorley. Grubber kick by Kimmorley. Has gone loose. He's able to pick it himself up. But Kimmorley and Reeves gets a tackle count. Restarts.
That's one.
Brendan Reeves playing it on tackle number 1. So another great chance for the Northern Eagles. Over the line and held up again. Paul Stringer pushes his way over the line. Stephen Clark was in perfect position to see it though. Held up, but it will be a scrum feed to the Eagles. 10 out in centre field.
Oh, they've been held up that many times. They must feel they've got the Michelin man underneath them, denying them tries every time they get across the stripe. But good dedication in defence. O'Davis involved again on that occasion. A short blindside. Interesting to see whether they try and attack.
Who's that?
Walker. Pass has gone behind King. Able to recover though, Andrew King.
Back. Try.
Still inside the 20. Greg Eberl draws the penalty for the Eagles. The crowd don't like it.
Try.
Penalty count is 8-4.
Well, John, while he's complaining about it,
he's probably not going to admit to it, Johnsy, but he was standing there. He heard me call him because he looked at me and he didn't go back, mate. He just kept going.
You can quite clearly hear referee Stephen Clark. He called his name 3 or 4 times to get back. The player looked at him, didn't move, and that's why he's been penalised. As Russell Fairfax mentioned, Clark is one of the guys that won't drop off. Some of the referees we've found, particularly when they're refereeing in front of a crowd like Newcastle, may tend to drop off a little bit. I'm not saying that they do it intentionally, but they do feel that when the penalty count is mounting like that, it does add pressure on them.
Well, that penalty count is, as we said, 8-4 in favour of the Northern Eagles, and a relatively easy penalty shot for Ben Walker. Takes a little time about it, kicks the penalty goal and kicks the Eagles to a lead now of 6 points to 2. So the Eagles bring it back from their own line. On their own 30, Jamie Goddard has come off the interchange bench, taking the place of Jeff Tuvey, who's having a breather at the moment. Kimmorley for Adam Muir.
That's 4.
Look at the interchanges so far. The Knights use 6 of their 12. The Eagles 4 of the 12 as Menzies makes a break and gives it to Jamie Goddard. Goddard looking for support desperately. Brendan Reeves was there. He couldn't get the pass from him. He's into dummy half though, Reeves. Wide he goes to Kimmorley. Then away to Menzies. Menzies' pass is floated forward. Lenny Beckett got it, but the pass had gone forward.
Well, a great break up the centre of the ruck. Jamie Goddard in support, fresh man on the field. Really spoiled right at the end again. The final play, ending with a mistake, much to the delight of the Newcastle fans. The Newcastle players, they must be starting to feel the pressure a little bit as well. They've got to knuckle down and decide where they want to play the game exactly the way that they did in the first 40 minutes. But what they've got to try and do is make sure that their defence is on song from marker. It's very difficult at the moment when they're travelling backwards. That should be a penalty.
And it is 2 men into the tackle on Glenn Grief.
Who is?
Gee, we've seen more mistakes in this second half than we saw in the first half. And just looking at the two sides, you can tell they haven't had a lot of football. The fittest of these two teams will take out this game. There's no doubt about that. There's nothing between them. And I've got to say, I think now they might just be the fit of these two sides. The Newcastle boys had a few in the World Cup squad. They might not be quite as fit with a bit of time off.
Greg Eberl just ruled to have been bleeding and told to go to the blood bin. The Knights back up to the 20. Haven't had many chances to attack up here for a little while, Newcastle. What can they do now? Buettner bringing it back to the short side to Johns, then away to Mark Hughes. Hughes' pass to pick up Justin Ryder. Ryder fools them. They thought he was going inside and he went to the outside and scored. The referee will go to Graham West. Let's see what he says.
Instruction of an Eagles player who held back off the ball. Might have been able to make that tackle on Ben Walker. Yes, please.
It was a point that really stuck out as well. Just having a look at it at the corner, it did appear it was Ben Kennedy, I thought, that on one of their angle plays, and Newcastle used it a fair bit, they've been accused, but then again, so does every other team. Coming forward, the last pass, though, was terrific. The last try-scoring opportunity, well, have a look at that. He had nothing to work with. That's fantastic. Just before then, we saw it was Ben Kennedy ran in, took a player out. Whether or not the video referee will judge that he took or made much of it or played any part in the try being denied.
As we see the try awarded, so scores levelled up here at Marathon, but gee, was a classy piece of play by that man on your screen right now.
He's had a good game today, Justin Ryder. A very good game indeed. John's kick, just putting too much hook on it, no goal. But what it does mean is that we have a tied-up ball game. Newcastle 6 and the Northern Eagles 6.
I think it's one of those areas of the game, Russell, that they've probably got to try and clean up a little bit, because there's no doubt that every team uses it. Players angling in for the sole intention or purpose of trying to take a defender out of the line. I believe that if they run and they make contact with them, it should be an automatic penalty.
Well, I think we will hear more of that one, Molly. I think that Peter Louis and his team down there with the referees will be taking a close look at that this year. Not that I want to mention rugby union that's been happening to Australia in international rugby. And maybe we've just pinched a couple of ideas from the boys that play the 15-man game.
Steve Simpson, 31 metres out from his own line. 6 points all it is. Glenn Grief, fresh off the interchange bench, drives his way into the Eagles' defence. Johns goes to the line. Almost used again one of his players for obstruction, but then was able to clear him and run into the tackler. Robbie O'Davis, the designated kicker. Brendan Reeves on the kick return. Lenny Beckett, 12 metres from his own line. Steve Menzies. Knights have used 8 of their 12 interchanges. The Eagles have only used 5. 6-all is the score. And into the clear spaces goes Ben Walker. Walker looking for support. Now decides to clap on the speed. Robbie O'Davis, who tried to fend him off, then flicks it straight into the arms of Billy Peden. He just hoped against hope that there was a Northern Eagles player there to take the flick pass. The only one there was Peden. And here comes Justin Ryder, having just scored a try. Almost gets through again. This time it's Kimmorley who makes the one-on-one tackle.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of panic right at the end from Ben Walker. He had to remember that it was still early in the tackle count. I think he was juggling in his mind whether to try and kick the ball forward and leave it for a kick and chase. In the end, the option he chose was the wrong one.
Oh, boys, now go.
Buettner runs from dummy half, picks up 8 metres, gets inside the Eagles' territory. Glenn Grief, another hard run. Last coming up now for the Knights. Back to Johns, sets himself for the high kick. Up they go for it. It's come down Newcastle's way. Fight for possession. Going to be an Eagles ball.
Good work from Lenny Beckett on that occasion too. He knew that he'd been pushed out of place. In an attempt to get to the football, got himself back into position and pinched it on the way down.
Good offload by Wayne Evans. Steve Menzies. Stringer. Ball loose. Play on, says the referee. Picked up by Goddard. Touched by Newcastle. Tackle count. Restarts. Crowd don't like that, but now drop.
That's 0.
Put down by Adam Muir. So a chance again for the Knights to attack. Crowd screaming to have the Eagles put back onside, and don't they make some noise quickly out to Damata. Tahu almost got through. He's 15 metres out from scoring. Straight ahead goes Steve Simpson. Third tackle, 8 metres from the line. 6-all is the score. Sean Rudder, away through Johns, wide pass to Hughes. Inside it goes to Ryder. Good tackle made on Ryder by Albert Torrance. Johns, again to the line, drops it back for O'Davis, wide to Peden, then to Hughes, on to Ryder again, scrambling to try and get over for his second try, Justin Ryder. Adam Muir made the tackle on him. This is the last coming up. Bad pass to Johns. He's collected it and gives it away to Medeiros. Quick hands, out wide it goes from Rudder. Rudder able to give his pass on to Darren Albert. Albert goes in to score. Michael Hagan's happy. The hero of the 1997 Newcastle Grand Final victory. Darren Albert scores the try that puts the Knights in front by 10-6.
Well, you've got panic, desperation, and a little bit of luck involved in this try. I thought there were 2 passes involved that were very close to being forward. There's a little bit of panic. That pass there, if that's not forward, I'm not here. It's gone a metre forward. Great pass over the top, though. Desperation shown by the Newcastle wingers to score both of these tries has been fantastic. The speed that they've got, we've been hearing about the speed and what an important part it plays. Russell mentioned it before. It's got them a certain 4 points this time.
I'm with you, Wally. 2 passes on the inside, but there's no doubting Darren Albert. He is a match winner.
Johns from right on touch. And away. No goal by Johns. Andrew Johns certainly is the hero of Newcastle, the man they love. But I tell you what, Darren Albert probably not far behind. He is a player who holds a very special part in the hearts of all Novocastrians after that unbelievable try a few years ago to seal the grand final in 1997. The year of the split premierships.
John, one of the unsung heroes so far for Newcastle this afternoon has been Danny Medeiros. The work that he's been able to put in around the ruck, both in attack and defence, has been first class. The territory he makes, just simple runs like that, upset the opposition defence a little bit. Whilst he hasn't got to his feet too quickly to play that one, a number of opportunities he has. He's really caught the Eagles' defence on the back foot.
Here's Steve Simpson, tackled just short of the halfway mark. 10 points to 6 in favour of the Newcastle Knights. Peden, his pass, went backwards. Johns able to snaffle it, then away to Robbie O'Davis, almost into space, the fullback. Call for by Johns, out on the left-hand side, lovely pass to pick up Hughes and inside to Ryder. Last tackle coming up, back quickly to Johns. That spiralling punt kick goes straight downfield for Reeves, who did well to take it. He's taken a couple of good ones today, Brendan Reeves. Baptism by fire when you play Andrew Johns, but he's done well. Mark O'Meley, 25 up from his own line. Wayne Evans, pushing the pass back, trying to keep it alive. The Newcastle defence, though, swarming through to put the ball player to ground. Nick Kosef plays it. Brett Kimmorley puts in the kick behind Darren Elman. Goes it a touch. 25 metres out.
Newcastle still quite prepared to throw the ball around. Their variation has been terrific. And there's always options when Johnson's running the football.
Get your outside. Give him a tunnel. He's got to get it in there.
Kimmorley's running at the moment. There just doesn't seem to be the same support available.
Sean Rudder at first receiver after that scrum win by Newcastle. It's a little facial massage from Albert Torrance. Billy Peden plays it just outside their own 30. Clinton O'Brien. Straight up the short side from Glenn Grief. Dearest also elects to go to the blind side. Mark Hughes. Last tackle now, they're 32 metres out from the line. Johns waits for it. This time elects to run it on the last. Sean Rudder. He puts in the kick. Lenny Beckett going back for it with Reeves. Reeves it will be who gets there first. Rudder coming through after his kick. Robbie O'Davis coming through to help him. Good chase too by O'Davis, who eventually made the tackle. Still only 12 out from their own line. Mark O'Meley on tackle number 4, and they've just reached the 20. Walker running it back for Kimmorley. Sees a half break and he's through. Brett Kimmorley able to send his pass away to Brendan Reeves. Reeves away to Menzies. He's dived in from behind. Couldn't be pulled out by Tamata Tahu. And Steve Menzies scores the try that makes it 10-all and a kick to come.
Well, when they run the football, just saying a few moments ago that they'd run out of options. Whether Kimmorley was going to get the same support when he ran with the football, he did on this occasion, but I'll tell you what, there are a couple of wobbly passes in this one as well. We had some doubts over the Newcastle try a few moments ago. Kimmorley did terrifically well. The defence hung off him after he threw a dummy into open spaces. Went Reeves, but not a bad bloke to have backing up, is he? The second row forward, Menzies, who has as good a pace as any forward on the football field.
Here goes the fullback, and gee, he gets cut down by Darren Albert. Tamata Tahu can't match it for pace with Steve McKenzie, and that's try number 111.
12-6 it is. The Northern Eagles are in front. 8.5 minutes left here at Marathon Stadium. The Eagles 12, the Knights 10.
It'll be interesting to see how they handle this. Do they try and kick short? Do they go deep and just hope to pin them?
Sun is set. The lights are on here at Marathon Stadium for the dying minutes of this game as Steve Trindle runs it back on the kick return. 12-10. In favour of the Northern Eagles. O'Meley did well to take that ball in, Big Mark O'Meley. Could have easily lost it over the shoulder. Ten on their own side of halfway. Jamie Goddard goes in field to be tackled on number 5.
Very important clearing kick for this one.
Brett Kimmorley waits for it. Has it in hand now, stabs his kick down, and it will roll into touch 8 metres out from the Newcastle line. As you said, Russell, counting the clock down, it means they get a scrum, but it also means that the Eagles' defence is then able to set and pin them down inside their own territory, and they're 10 out from their own line now with Ben Kennedy away to Albert. Darren Albert starts to clap on the speed. Ben Kennedy is taken from behind by Beckett. They're not done with yet. not by a long shot. Vidiris, and then shuffled across from Johns, out wide to Mark Hughes, now to the flying Justin Ryder, and thrown into touch in the tackle of Robert Miles.
Well done by Miles, but also good work from Albert Torrens. He's the one that came across, playing the slide defence.
Torrens coming into first receiver from the scrum win. Coming towards the last 5 minutes, the Knights with 2 interchanges remaining, the Eagles with 6. But it's the Eagles in front by 12 points to 10. O'Meley plays the ball on halfway. Nick Kosef drives it forward some 5-6 metres. Kimmorley to the line. Quick hands, ball lost. This is going to be a Newcastle ball. And a penalty on top of that.
We can't turtle him.
Oh, John, that's strange thinking to me why they'd even chance their arm attacking with just 5 minutes to go, throwing anything like that, and then compounding the error with a silly penalty. Certainly brought the locals here at Marathon to life.
Josh Perry gets it 11 metres from the line. Now the crowd starts to roar. Away to Sean Rudder. Rudder's pass. A Tumbala Tahu. Inside to the flank. Darren Albert, he's lost it. Couldn't take it on, but Brendan Reeves comes up with the ball from his own in goal. Kimmorley goes in to be the dummy half. They're starting to try and throw the ball around. You would think right now they just want to take a couple of settlers and run the clock down. The Eagles, 4.5 minutes to go.
Well, common sense should be prevailing, but what an exciting move from the Knights. Tahu dropping the ball back inside to Albert. Doesn't seem to matter who plays in the centres for the Knights, whether it's Gidley or not. They're able to drop that one-handed backward pass into open space. A good option from Kimmorley to kick into open space.
Kicks into open spaces. Here comes the flying Robert Miles after it, but Robbie O'Davis is able to get back first. Now cornered and put to ground by Ben Walker, 15 metres out from his own line. They know they have to throw caution to the wind now, the Knights. They're behind by 2 points. 3.5 to go and lost the ball. Kimmorley elects to give it to Reeves coming in from fullback on the short side. Tackle made on him immediately by Andrew Johns. To Paul Stringer.
Well, here's a play getting called out. Ben Kennedy, I think it was for a high shot.
Doesn't matter the fact that you missed. It was a big swinging one. And if it hit his head, he would have ended up over there.
His head might have. Well, he did wind it up too, didn't he? Probably arguing the fact that the man that he's up against is about 15 or 20 kilos heavier. And unfortunately, when you're trying to get the football and you've only got 3 minutes to go in the game, it's not a good idea to go giving away penalties and time off the clock.
Well, they just tried to work down the clock by throwing the ball first to Kimmorley, then to Kennedy, then back to Kimmorley. So Mark O'Meley drives it to 3 metres from the line. 12 points to 10 in favour of the Northern Eagles, and the Eagles 5 metres out from the line. 2.5 minutes remaining here at Marathon Stadium. O'Meley again, taking the pass from Jeff Tuvey, who's come back onto the field after a breather on the interchange. There goes Tuvey in to be the dummy half. His pass away to Kimmorley. Switch back to Menzies. Menzies, who scored the try that got them back into the lead. He'll play it 5 metres from the line to Tuvey, then away to Kimmorley and on to Walker, who went forward.
Come on, mate. You can't hang around the back line, mate. You've got to be in and out. I thought it was forward from where I was, mate. Just getting into the
Well, the idea was right. Morley was trying to just drop the ball across and make it look like it was a second man play. Line ball. You heard referee Stephen Clark give his version of events from where he was. He thought it was forward. It didn't seem to be a lot of objection from Kimmorley. One last throw of the dice. 2 minutes to go. You would think that the maximum times that Newcastle will touch the ball, John, will be twice.
And they've got to do the hard work because they're 10 metres out from their own line. Caution to the wind. Robbie O'Davis looking to get on the outside of the defence. He can't do so. Dragged to ground by Torrance.
Hold, go now.
Paul Marquette playing it. Now to Johns. Andrew Johns saw a half break, then picked up Ben Kennedy on the fly. Pushed away from Kimmorley, then on to Rudder. Rudder on halfway. 4 tackles gone now. Johns flick back inside to Hughes, kept alive, on to Sean Rudder. Rudder's pass on the bounce. It goes to Steve Simpson, still keeping it alive, and they've worked it to 22 metres out from the line. Last tackle coming up. Andrew Johns didn't get the ball from Medeiros, has put it into touch on the forward. Andrew Johns, standing in centre field, hangs his head to say, I wanted the football.
Well, I can't believe that Medeiros even contemplated putting the ball out. Perhaps he was trying to get it on the right foot and hook it round in behind the ruck, rubbering it in behind the line, but if he did, it was a pretty poor attempt. If you've got one of the best kickers in the game, why not use him, especially when you had 50 seconds left and it was your last play of the game?
And they will simply, the Northern Eagles, run the clock down to the last 20 seconds. Jeff Tooby very slow to play the ball, and that's all they'll do. Tuck it up and hold on to it. Tooby into dummy half, says to O'Meley, you just take it forward, lumber up a few metres. Tooby himself from dummy half. Full time here at Marathon Stadium. One of the toughest assignments in the league to beat the Knights at home, and the Northern Eagles have done it by 12 points to 10.
Well, that's a wonderful win for the Northern Eagles. First start of the season, but here at Newcastle's home track, not too many teams go away boasting a victory here. Referee Stephen Clark, he's certainly hearing from the Newcastle fans, but I think they've got to be realistic enough to realise that it's probably the players that wasted opportunities out there this afternoon from both teams.
The Knights had led by 2 points to 0 at half-time, but at full-time it's the visitors, the Northern Eagles, who come away with the 2 Telstra premiership points. 12-10 victors over the Newcastle Knights in a seesawing game. Played in front of a crowd of over 18,000. In fact, I thought there would have been more than that. I don't know when they get a capacity crowd where they'd fit them, because there didn't look to be too much space to me.
I tell you what, someone's lost the beans. They haven't counted those ones correctly.
Right, let's take you to the sideline. Here's Russell Fairfax.
Well, Andrew Johns, I've got to say, you got to hope you got to wish you don't draw Northern Eagles first game next year as well.
Yeah, it's a bit of rivalry, you know. It's good for the game, and you know, them sort of games they're really enjoyable. That's why you make so many sacrifices, and you know, we could have won the game. We just got to probably be a little bit more patient on occasion. You know, it's disappointing.
Disappointing, because you certainly had the opportunity to win that game very, very clearly.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we created opportunities, and whether it's just early in the season or what, but I think we got a bit excited. Instead of consolidating and dominating possession and you know, maybe getting the ball back off a drop out, we pushed the pass, and it's just unfortunate, but they took their chances, so good luck to them.
Yeah, Wally Lewis, one of our commentators, was saying there wasn't much patience out there. We seem to be forcing the football, not just Newcastle, but the Northern Eagles as well.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's just early in the season, but I know I can't speak for them, but we really didn't work for things, we didn't build for things, and I think we tried to score off every player, which you can't do against quality sides.
Well, good luck next week. You'll be searching for a win, that's for sure.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Good on you.
Thanks, Andrew. Well, Brett, congratulations. First up win. Your side went very well. You must be delighted now. I guess you're maybe a bit apprehensive about signing. Now you're on the football field. Things are starting to come to fruition. You'd be delighted.
I'm very delighted, yeah. That's right, Russell. You know, I was always knowing the side that they had that we could work, but we had to put it together, and it, you know, it seems like we're coming together pretty well as a team. It's certainly hard to win up here, and you know, for the first game, it's good to come away with a 2. I think it'll grow in confidence for our team, which is something we need.
Tough to win up here. It's almost impossible. But you got involved in that in the match-winning try that put Steve Menzies over. Great piece of play. You'd been a little bit quiet up until then. All of a sudden, you pinned your ears back and found a nice piece of space.
Yeah, it was probably a little bit quiet. I'd like to probably run the ball a bit more, but I suppose it's just about going to be match fit and a bit more confidence, which we'll get out of winning up here today. And we can certainly play with the footy. We've just got to fix up a few simple things, and we'll be going all right.
A lot of people will probably forget you have a premiership with the Newcastle Knights. You were part of the reserve grade premiership side, but this is fantastic coming up home. A lot of friends up here. Nice to perform in front of the family. Yeah,
it's always a good spot to come back and play. Like you said, I've started my career here, and it's always a great atmosphere. It's a full house, and I've got some family and friends here, so. You don't win here too often, so it's great to win here sort of first up for the new club.
Yeah, great first up win. I'm sure Peter Sharp will look after you guys. He'll be a very happy man. Well done. I look forward to seeing you in action again this year.
Thanks, Russell. Cheers.
Two wonderful number 7s, Andrew Johns and Brett Kimmorley. And of course, as Brett just said, hard to win up here. He knows well because he is a product of Newcastle football. What two wonderful rugby league products they are. From the Steel City of Newcastle, Andrew Johns and Brett Kimmorley. And what a battle they had today.